Well, hello, heathens! If you guys don't know, dolphins disprove evolution. Yeah, if you don't know, dolphins disprove evolution. We're about to find out why. I'm feeling it so far.
Symbiotic relationships also stretch across environments. For example, most people would never consider that trees and other plants play a vital role in the life of dolphins. Vegetation also keeps you and me alive, because plants produce oxygen, and dolphins, like humans, are air breathers. This means that for as long as there have been dolphins, there must have also been plants. Traditional evolutionary teaching claims that dolphins evolved from some kind of cow or other land-based mammal.
Dolphins, if you didn't know, dolphins did evolve from a land-based animal. That's pretty obvious with them, breathing oxygen, from the air rather than, getting it out of the water. That's pretty relevant. Also, the fact that, we don't have any kind of dolphin fossils or anything like that predates like land mammals. But I mean, just the way the dolphins work, I mean, it makes sense that they would have, come from the land and whatnot. So,
but is this really possible? Or is this scientific theory really closer to science fiction?
No.
To discover the truth, let us consider some of the changes that will be needed for this evolution to take place.
Okay. Why do you say that with I get being skeptical, but you're saying that with such a skeptical tone, like this evolution. It's almost like you want to spell it evolution.
As you can see, the dolphin breathes through a blowhole situated on the top of its head.
Right.
A blowhole does not connect to the throat as with mammals who breathe through their nostrils, which enables dolphins to eat while submerged without swallowing water.
Okay.
Any mammal trying to evolve nostrils into blowholes would drown. And
oh no! There it goes! There's that hard left right there. Yeah, that's my left. It would look different on yours, but wow. Okay, so any animal looking to evolve like that would just drown. That's not how any of this works, at all. That's not how any of it works. How it works is gradual changes, right? So there's a gradual change, and I actually found, let's see, I could look this up really easily too. Look, I spelled it evil at first, but evolution of dolphins. I'm typing this into Google right now. You go to Google Images, and you can pull off, boom, this image. Okay, there are better images out there, but this is basically that's not the full evolution of it. I think this one may be a little bit better. That shows you how it could have turned into, or how it did turn into a whale. Let's see. Like I said, I am quite literally on Google. Here's another good one that kind of shows the bone changes. It's not like animals just just up and decide, oh, I want to grow a third leg because that'll help me run faster. That's not how it works. The animal was becoming more aquatic, and by being underwater, it allowed it to survive and stuff. So, I mean, there are rational reasons why these changes would have been made. It's not like these particular animals just up and one day decided that they were going to grow some kind of new, appendage or change in some way. They didn't just up and decide it, That's what these people always act like. They just up it like it was a conscious decision by the animal. It's no, it takes a really long time, and there's a lot of small minor changes that happen through mutations.
The evolution is over. If you ever had water go up your nose while swimming, you can understand the problem. The ability to breathe must work properly immediately, or you die. If an animal's nostrils were still...
That was so profound. It blew my mind. You got to be able to breathe in order to survive. Oh man.
Evolving, then water would enter the lungs and the animal would drown. Or, if their blowhole was not fully evolved, it would also drown.
Okay.
The deepest recorded dive of a dolphin is 547 meters, which is about 1,800 feet.
Okay.
The weight of water pressure at this depth is more than 820 pounds per square inch.
Right.
Imagine the problems facing any land mammal attempting such a dive. They would also not be able to see properly, be unable to breed, sleep, eat, hear, or swim efficiently. All
Okay, like not at first. It's not like the land animal just went into the water and just was automatically. It's not like the water had some kind of chemical reaction with the land animal and like he started to like convulse and started to change into a dolphin and then all of a sudden Flipper pops out the water. You know, I mean, he's sitting here talking about all these different changes and it's like these changes have to happen over time.
All of these functions have to be specially designed for life to survive in the oceans.
No, they don't have to be specifically designed for it. They evolve. Like, they evolve and they adapt to their environment so that they can survive in it. It's, you know, the ones that can adapt better and quicker are able to survive better in the environment. I don't understand, like, why you think why you got to make that jump to, oh, he had to be designed. Like, that's that big leap that they always make, is that it's got to be designed. And that's just utter bullshit.
And most of these features evolving gradually would kill the animal. In light of this, it seems incredible that such ideas are still taught and believed in our educational institutions.
No, you know what's really crazy is just now there was a state, I forget which state, there was a state that just now recently removed creationism from the science textbooks. Creationism is not science. This stuff that you're ridiculing in this video is completely science. Like, it is completely scientific to say that small changes over time equal large changes in a species that actually turn it into a different fucking species.
Dolphins are powerful swimmers.
Sorry, yes, Chris gave it to me. Ohio just removed it. Thanks for that, guys. Ohio just removed creationism from its textbooks. It's 2016.
And can easily reach speeds of over 30 miles per hour.
Woo!
This is achieved
fast.
by a strong, muscular system built upon a lightweight skeleton. They also shed their outer layer of skin cells, which contain small droplets of oil up to 12 times a day. This suggests that their incredibly smooth skin is lubricated, creating a drag-free surface. Any mammal losing its fur whilst trying to evolve into a dolphin, which has no hair, has a serious problem.
Okay, they're acting like they were furry dolphins. Like seriously, you know, they would have lost their hair first. Hair, like, that's why you don't see, like, a lot of hairy things in water in general. Hair doesn't really serve a purpose in water. That's why hair is evolved out of things that are kind of, you know, in water. That's why they have the leathery skin or whatnot. And that's why these dolphins, you know, okay, so just imagine this. Just take the oil on the outside of the dolphin, for instance, right? As to what he says here, I haven't double checked that that's actually true, but I don't have any reason to really doubt that particular otters. I think otters are both land and water. Like, I'm talking about animals that are like you don't ever see dolphins on land. Like, you don't see a dolphin like walking across land or something. Although otters, you do see like you see them in the water, but you also see them on land. So like they still have a use for their fur. Just take the oil, you know, that they produce. They produce a frictionless thing, you know, that helps them move faster through the water, right? Well, it stands to reason that if you have a population of dolphins and one of them produces this oil that makes them faster in the water, and you have one that doesn't, they're not going to be able to move as fast to get away from to get away from predators and whatnot. So the ones that are producing this oil or starting to produce this oil and whatnot, they are going to be able to escape predators and be able to survive long enough to pass on their genes. And, that's how you evolve a trait into a particular species.
He would die of the cold before his body could develop the unique body heating system dolphins use called thermoregulation.
Okay, yeah, and the thermal regulation, still, it's evolved slowly over time. Those that didn't have that, would have died in the water, of course, but those that evolved that trait would have.
Dolphin calves are born tail first, because as air breathers, the head has to appear last so the baby does not have to wait to draw its first breath. If it were born head first, they could drown before their entire body has emerged.
Okay, who's to say that there aren't some that are born head first? Like, there probably are a lot that are born head first. It's just the ones that are born tail first survive. He seems to be, like, ignoring these possibilities or these facts in order to say, oh, look, they were fucking designed.
Any one of these so-called adaptations taking place gradually is enough to kill off any species. And all of them happening together is simply a statistical impossibility.
Okay, I will agree that all of them happening all at once is pretty statistically impossible. Not only is it statistically impossible, but I mean, it's statistically impossible because it just doesn't fucking happen that way. That's not how this shit works. To say that the mutations would kill a species or whatnot over time, that's just ridiculous.
In terms of the survivability of the animal. Add to this that any change in design requires intelligence and energy.
No, it doesn't require. We've got proof that it doesn't require intelligence and energy.
Humans can design submarines, boats, and scuba equipment because they can study the new environment that they will be entering. Animals do not have this foreknowledge.
No, they didn't have that foreknowledge. That's why natural processes allowed it to happen.
And the processes of nature alone, without intelligence, simply do not bring about changes in design.
That's bullshit. Mutations, motherfucker. Look, okay, a lot of people say that, mutations cannot add information to genetic code. That's complete and utter bullshit, but they like to, what they do is they vaguely define what information is. There's several things that can add to genetic information as far as mutations go. You have increased genetic variety in population, increased genetic material, novel genetic material, and novel genetically regulated abilities. Those are all things that can be easily worked into an organism's genetic code through mutations. Mutations happen when DNA or an RNA and whatnot are copied, right? You end up with mistakes in the genetic code, and those are called mutations. Now, if you get the right number of mistakes, the right combination of them, you end up with a new trait or new information in the genetic code. So, it does add to the information. You do not need an intelligence because RNA is, it copies in a natural process. It can do all of these things naturally. We have natural explanations for it, but that's not in the Bible, and that's why you don't like it. But let's see. Calvin P. Jones says, how would this man explain OU20 bacteria that has evolved to survive in the vacuum of space? What need would God have for that trait in his plan? I really don't know. I think that maybe he wanted to transport Jesus to another planet and get them to worship him too, so he made this particular bacteria to go over there and holy fuck, that proves evolution though. Nope, that's not what Jesus did. Turn it off. Turn this shit off. In Genesis 30:39, they say that an animal's spots and stripes came because what they did was they placed the animals in front of trees and branches that had spots and stripes and rings and everything, and they made the animals fuck. And when the animals fucked, they produced offspring that was spotted, striped, and ringed and everything. Genesis 30:39 look it the fuck up. It says that they made the animals fuck in front of these designs, and all of a sudden they came out with stripes and shit. Can you imagine that? Like, let's say you're fucking your girl in your room and you got a striped wall. Is that baby gonna come out looking all striped and shit? I mean, come on, I can see somebody, like some girl maybe cheated on her boyfriend or husband, and the baby comes out, African American. It's like, well, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have painted our walls brown. You don't know. That's how God says it happens. Let's see. Matthew Line, by his logic, humans couldn't migrate to other climates in ancient times because we didn't have ways to go and study the new environment beforehand. That's a good observation there, Matthew. That's one thing that a lot of creationists like to throw at you as far as evolution goes, and that is that, adaptation happens, but evolution doesn't. But, the way that I like to explain that particular bullshit is, say that you're in a shopping, like you're in a grocery store, right? And you only want to get things that cost $1. Well, guess what? If you pick up 100 things that cost $1, that is $100 in groceries. That's what any kind of moderately sized family would spend, like maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks on groceries. All right, you've got a lot of them. Like, you got a lot of shit for $100, right? Well, that adds up to $100. The same way with genetic mutations and adaptation is that it over time it builds up, and when those successful mutations build up, boom, you got a new species. And we determine new species by if they can procreate. That's one way. That's also another way that they determine kinds. Now, there are some species that can intermingle and procreate. Like, if they're close enough genetically, they can. But like, if you've got like the way that creationists like to spit it is that, this one mosquito isn't different from this mosquito, therefore they're both mosquitoes, and they're the same species in their head, right? Well, I mean, if you have one mosquito that's like 2 or 3 species, 2 or 3 degrees, 2 or 3 species different, then it's, they're not going to be able to mate. Of course, that doesn't really determine species. I'm not a biological scientist, okay? I don't, that's not my profession, so explaining species without having researched it beforehand is a little hard for me, so I'm sorry about that. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Y'all have a nice night.
Hail Satan!
And don't forget to follow my live streams. I do it every Monday and Friday night.
What's good? My name is Kenny Cross. You know what I like? Galaxy. You know what a galaxy looks like? A hurricane. You know what a hurricane looks like? A seashell. You know what a seashell looks like? Your ear.
It gets me every time.
And inside was red liquid.
Was red liquid? There was a goblet and there was red liquid. Now, okay, if I remember my supernatural correctly, the only kind of supernatural being that communicates with red